It's to ward away bad spirits and evil things and fairies in some cases, or anything that was going to do chill on you. Traditionally, the best time to pull this was on Filion, the night before Tynwald Day, or Midsummer's Day as it would be at that point, and you had to pull it up by the roots at midnight, and if you did that, you had the power for the whole year. You had a good power for the year. There are a lot of stories about the Bollan Bane. They're not directly about the herb, but they're about a fairy tune known as Bollan Bane. Bollan Bane was the name of the great fairy tune, the great elusive fairy tune that every fiddler worth his salt wanted to know, and many seem to claim they had indeed found it. There is a version of the story when there's a farmer, well, a shepherd really, who was going out onto the hills with his dog out all day after the sheep, and it was getting towards night, and he knew he was going to be stuck up on the hills of an evening. That's not a good place to be, not when there's all kinds of strange beings around. So he plucked some Bollan Bane and he put this in his jacket. He was later than he expected, and the dog was running all over the place, and he had to pick up the dog in the end. It was so tired, slung it over his shoulder, and off he went slowly home. But as he was going over a certain part of the hills, he heard some distant music, and he stopped and he listened, and he thought, I must get that tune. That's the best tune I ever heard. So he went closer to the source of the music, and he realised that he'd come across themselves up there, and they were all great fiddlers, the fairies, you see, and they were dancing and singing, and there was this tune, and they thought, I'm going to have this. So they didn't know he was there. Fortunately, that was probably the protective effects of the herb, and he was listening. I thought, I've got this, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to learn, I'm going to dazzle everybody with this tune. So silently crept off there, dog still over his shoulder. Don't know how he kept the dog quiet, but must have done. Anyway, he'd not gone too far when he thought, right, I'll just see if I can run that tune through my head, and it had gone. So such was the power of the Bollan Bane tune. This time back he went, and same spot there they were, all singing and dancing and playing the tunes, and this particular tune, there it was again, and this time he thought, I've got it. So back he goes again, dog back on his shoulder. He was tired awful. Goes further, he's nearly home, and then again the tune is gone. So back he goes a third time, and eventually he gets the tune, and home he goes just in time for dawn. So he'd been out the whole night in pursuit of this tune, and his wife was furious with them, and because it was a Sunday, and you shouldn't be going home and practicing tunes on a Sunday, and especially not a fairy tune, I would imagine. There are quite a few stories like that, or versions of that to be found, and apparently they were taken from people who'd experienced these things up on the hills, probably in the late 19th century. So there were quite a few recordings of that. So watch out. And if you do find yourself on the mountains in the middle of the night and don't know what's happening, and you are seduced by a mysterious tune going on, make sure you've got some Bollan Bane on yourself to keep you safe, because I don't think the fairies appreciate you pinching their tunes.